There you are.
Can I help you? Hello?
Aye. If you're buying goods in Didenhill, it's Cora Bennick you want. Tinder Twig, which is easiest found in Ironhold Passage. In Scarwood Bark, which is found near the ruins. And another potion! Excellent! Tinder Twig, which is easiest found in More reagents! Good, good. Tinder Twig, which is easiest found in Ironhold. Another potion! Excellent! Tinder Twig, which is easiest found in Ironhold. Another potion! Excellent! Tinder Twig, which is easiest found in more reagents. Good, good. Did you hear? Thaddeus, dead of the plague.
It was Nuala Ignis who stirred the magics of Aod. At least now we may restore the balance of the ruin before the rest of Dalentarth is engulfed in flames. What is this? You caught her crafting this, you say? Remarkable. Just utterly remarkable. That might explain her behavior. Breaching the seals of Aod should have been far beyond her capacity. Not to mention whatever this is, I have never seen the like. It is as if the element of fire were given physical form. You have done well. I have another assignment for you when you are ready. In the meantime, I shall be studying this sunstone. Adept Fell recently began investigating some disappearances in Melaglia. I haven't heard from her in some time. I want you to go to Melaglia in the plains of Erethel. A member of our order will meet you on your way there to give more information. Do not keep your contact waiting. And when you've sorted the business with Lerkara out, meet me at the Rathir Chapter House. Archsage Jubal Calidus is the highest-ranking member of our order. He is the most powerful sorcerer alive, and as such, commands the allegiance of all within the Scholia Arcana. If he ever asks anything of you, neophyte, be sure to deliver. Melaglia is a trade hub between the great cities of Odessa to the south and Rathir to the north. Lately, however, the town has been experiencing a number of disappearances. For generations, the lords of Kandrian Keep have ruled over various parts of the plains of Erethel. Kandrian Keep is the ancestral seat of power. North and east, across the plains of Erethel, to the village of Mel Aglir. I will be setting out for Rathir shortly, so when you are finished in Mel Aglir, meet me at the chapter house there. Where did I put my quill?
You've returned. Have you found them? Then you must tell me, please. Very well. But I'm eager to learn what happened that night. Don't be a stranger! Please, tell me what transpired between them. Then you must tell me, please. Yes, I suspected as much. Cassera has a strong will and thinks with much agility. I'm not surprised to learn this is her doing. Very well. What happened next? Very well. But I'm eager to learn what happened that... Don't be a stranger! Please, tell me what transpired between them. Then you must tell me, please. Yes, I suspected as much. Very well. What happened next? Regrettable. It truly is. He was neither as strong as Aloran nor as smart as Cassera. I see how they might have turned on him. And so? What of the third? Yes. Aloran often trusted too much in his own skill, and did not properly understand his environment. The She would have made quick work of him. Those fools. All this bloodshed over a gem. And now, I cannot even bring myself to look at it. Better, I think, that you keep it. In addition, I will discount my services to you, should you ever be in need of them. Thank you again. Don't be a stranger!
They were the harbingers of the fall, these children of dust. And they lit the forest with their fires, and then split it with their blades. We crept back, shapeless in the darkness, silent in the trees. The shadows are few in this age of mortals. The light beckons.
Yes? Careful when wandering outside of town. There's freemen lurking around every corner.
Hail, Wanderer. Would you spare a moment? I have a favor to ask you. It was not always the empty place you see now, but it has become little more than a stopping point between Dalentarth and Rathir for travelers. This used to be a peaceful place full of farmlands. It is still a quiet place, but now the freemen are lurking around just looking to murder and thieve. Not much to speak of, just another soul wandering the plains trying to get by. In appearances, perhaps, I'm just an alpha that needs your help. I have a few belongings to sell, and unfortunately, I've done little to endear myself to Aiton's folk. Will you sell them in my stead? The arrangement is simple. I give you an item and you sell it. I take a cut, you keep the profit. And will repeat until I have nothing to sell. Understand? I thought you had the look of a trader about you. I have several items for you to sell. If you prefer, you could just buy them all now from me and sell them later. As you wish. The items are in acceptable condition, if nothing else, but they might stand a little polish here and there. Take my silverware, for example. It's somewhat tarnished, but Ban Ron could use the metal. If you melted it down, he'd likely pay more for it. I want you to sell it. Ban Ron, the local smithy, will have use for the silver, I'm sure. If you process the silver down to a raw form, he might pay more for it.
Welcome to the Clanging Hammer. Don't see many new faces in Aiton these days. My forge is open. Before Talarain fell to ruin, it was Aiton's fields and villagers that stocked and supplied the various citadels there. But the war hit us hard. Bandits plagued the roads. Even Rond Farm has burned to soot. They have been lingering around the wolds. Be cautious on the roads out there. Those freemen like to sneak up on wanderers. It's quiet here. Farmland mainly. But between Rond Farm and the freemen, we've got our own worries. So you're Ratipus Proxy. I heard that someone was helping him out of his money problems. Well, that misfortune couldn't have happened to a nicer person. He was the richest Alfar in town, until he lost his shirt in the war. But that looks to be good silver. I'll take it off your hands. Forge is yours, whenever you... Back for more smithy work? Or looking to use the forge on... Forge is yours, whenever you need.
How goes our business? For your sake, I hope it is smooth. I never thought I'd see the day when I'd be happy to see such a paltry sum. I suppose the townsfolk are happy on my behalf. But let the past lie. I've another item for you. My kerchief. Slightly, worn, but the material is special, of the sort alchemists employ for handling reagents. Askell Thorin might buy it. He's a stubborn one, but he's weak at haggling. See what you can get out of him. Maybe I was someone once before, when the war was just a small conflagration in Cluricon. But by the time we heard the war front was coming, it had already reached us. And like a fool, I smiled at the opportunity. Askell Thorin, the local alchemist, is... See what kind of price you can get out of him.
Good day, traveler.
For a minute I thought the damn Freeman had fancied to rob me. Welcome. I offer some alchemical items if you are interested. If not for the slim flow of traffic between Rathir and Darentar, it would likely not exist anymore. It's been worse since the war. In a few decades, we'll probably be like Talarain, completely ruined. Ruffians and bandits are scattered all over the wolds. It's dangerous wandering outside of town. It's quiet here, and I can appreciate that. But as the days pass and travelers grow scarcer, it becomes ever more difficult to make a living out here. My wife and assistant, she helps me run the shop. Although sometimes she creates more problems than she fixes. So, Ratifer's new errand runner is here. Ratifer's been in town for years, but this is the first time I've heard anything from him since he returned from Tuwili over 10 years ago. A messy business, not unlike alchemy. I've seen that rag of his, and I know its virtues. I'll part with some coin for it. Very well.
You should speak with Askell if you're here to shop. He won't even let me keep the books anymore after my last mistake. I want to help him, but he won't let me near his ledgers. Askell is the owner of the shop and my husband. If you would like to make a purchase, you should speak with him. Bandits and thieves that have been seen around the walls. They won't think twice of killing you for any valuables. The Wolds aren't much if you're looking for excitement. At least, not before the war turned those freemen loose on us. That is the wasteland, southeast of here. Long ago, it was a grand citadel, ruled over by the Ouster family. It's since fallen to ruin. You'll find monsters there, amongst ancient treasure. Well, if you can undo my mistake, perhaps Askell will let me help him again. I sent out several invoices the other day, but I made a slight arithmetic error that might cost us dearly. None of the customers seem to have noticed yet. Can you recollect those invoices discreetly? Oh, thank you. There's 5 invoices in total. 4 went to the townsfolk. The last was to go to the War-Sworn Fortress, Helmgard, with a traveling merchant. When you have them all, bring them back to me. Oh, and don't mention this to Askell. 4 of them were given out to the townsfolk. The last was to be sent to Helmgard Keep, the War-Sworn base, so I gave it to a merchant traveling that way. Nice talking to you.
What is it you need, stranger? How go my affairs? And I hope you've gotten out of Askell what you wanted for it. I have another item I want you to sell. A pair of daggers. Finwick Ivor collects weapons. Gaudy, gem-encrusted ceremonial ones. But weapons nonetheless. Some gem socketing may be of use. Take whatever you can for them. Just get them out of my sight. I was caught up in the war. Everyone with an able body marched to the east. And I went with them. For glory, for pride, for vengeance. They were the only things we never found. Sell them to Finwick Ivor. He's fancied himself a collector of these kinds of things. He's quite vain. If you socket a gem or 2 into them, I'm sure he'll pay more for the daggers.
A customer?
Stranger to Ayton, I'm the law in this town. Keep the peace and you are welcome to stay. If not, then you had best leave. If you need to trade, visit Banron, our smithy, and Askell deals in alchemy. And there's a general dealer staying at the inn. Town's becoming harder to protect. We get weaker every season, and the freemen know it. I do what I can, but we keep losing ground. Rond Farm burned not long ago, but it's too dangerous to investigate. I am the law of the town. Aiton needed protection, and I didn't see anyone else willing to do the job. I took it upon myself to keep Aiton safe. Someone needed to do it. Used to be peaceful farmland before the war was on. Now it's some scratched up dirt, home to Aiton and those murderous freemen. Ratifer's aid, right? Let me take a look at what you have there. By the gods! All Alfar know these daggers. These were given to the heroes of the Battle of Gallifore Plains. Ratifer got these for saving Rathir from the Tuatha. Will you look at that stone? Shining like the day it was set into the blade. I'll take these off your hands. They must be preserved. Keep the peace.
What is it you need, stranger? How go my affairs? Good. Sell this ring as well. There is a recluse who lives on the edge of town. Nell. The ring meant something to her long ago. Age has taken its luster, but the potion from an acid solution will make it shine once more. Nell will pay handsomely for that, I think. When the war neared Rathir, I joined with forces on the Gallifore Plains. The Tuatha were pushed back. We chased them all the way back to Tuwili, hoping to end it there. We didn't. It goes to Singing Nell, the hermit near town. She has a dowry, some gold saved away, I know it. The ring's tarnished with the years, but there's a secret. Douse it with acid solution, and that should wash it clean.
Many tidings, stranger.
Can I help you?
A customer?
Greetings!
Stranger Strange come to Ayton. Few come by these roads nowadays. A hard gaze falls on Ayton. Many are the burdens and few are the reliefs. Someone must go to Ayton Circle. Someone must call the Erethel. Though our wheat grows strong, the citizens do not. We sowed a crop that was untimely reaped. We need intervention, lest we end up like Talarain, a monument to nothing with kobolds and raiders squabbling over our bones. The last remaining farm in the Wolds. There has been much talk of it, how Denrit and Allred Rond have gone mad. Even Finwick refuses to investigate, so wary is he of catching the madness. A forgotten spot in these plains. The land still bears grain, but few reap the crops they did before the war. Only Ron Farm stands, and Flame has gutted it. The others have fallen into the hands of the freemen, bandits, marauders. Hoping to hear a song for coin from Old Nell. I haven't sung for years, stranger, not since the war started. Ratifer. After a decade, he begs me payment for the ring, and so his promise is finally broken. Very well. I should be lucky to die unmarried rather than a widow. Flutter away.
Hello there, stranger.
You come again, and so I ask, will you go to Ayton Circle? Will you call the Erethel through song? 10 years after Ratifer's squires and pages died, another comes back to me bringing this ring? It's as green and old as my heart. But if Ratifer put a part of himself out for sale, it's fitting that I buy it. I have a trove of my own out here. Take it. Just leave the ring. A circle of the windstones nearby. When the voices from its stones sing a certain melody, the Erethel will come and end our tribulations. Each stone is a voice in the song. When all have sung in their part, the Erethel will appear. But if not, dark things for these dark times will show instead. The stones. I am unworthy. I do not think they will sing to me. You must go. It must be you. Make the stones sing their song. You will? Ayton Circle is to the south of town. Each stone carries a note of the song. In the right order, they form the song as it was to be sung. But they will not suffer a cacophony. If the songs you play will not call the Erethel, it will call darker things for these dark times. Everyone knows the song. It starts on the highest note and descends down the scale. Wait a moment. Perhaps it was start at the lowest note and descend up. Well, something like that anyway. Flutter away.
What is it you need, stranger? How go my affairs? That was a hard thing to let go of, but it needed to be done. There is one last thing I need to divest myself of. My charter. The one that shows my ancestry. It is in the ruins of my family's estate, Corgan Hold. Its buyer is Gordon Lott, the innkeep. Give it to him, whatever he asks for it. It was a stronghold that my family held for generations. When I returned from the war, its halls were empty and I couldn't bring myself to fill them again. Brigands and worse things lurk in those halls now. It's been 10 years since I took the young of Ayton and failed to come back with them. Their families, their loved ones, I couldn't look them in their faces. I could never understand what they went through, but knowing was enough. In Corgan Hold, It was an ancestral home for the Ratafurs, but since I've abandoned it, darker things...
Welcome to the smithy.
Many tidings, stranger.
Strange creatures, these mortals. They wake, they work, they worry. It is a joyless undertaking, life. The wolds now bear the mark of time, of smoke and frailty. And there is more. But these mortals dragons.
What is it now? I've told you before, and I'll tell you again. We will leave when there is someplace else for us to go. Tell your friends in Emer that as long as the Tuatha burn our homes, we'll keep searching for a place to settle. I was raised in Kol and spent my summers fishing the Tuili coast. And when the war came, I threw my lot in with General Tolera. May she forgive herself. They claimed to be low on supplies, to be unable to spare even the smallest charity. But I know better. I have seen. Unlike us, they have everything they need, and more. Here we are safe from the Fae, all of them. We are simple people. We don't wish to be pawns in the games of immortals, summer or winter. As for Emer, the villagers have made it very clear that we're not welcome. There would be more understanding if they had endured our hardships. I saw them with my own eyes, and I know Tuatha killed my fair share in the war. I am Elrod Edmund, leader of this pathetic band of ragmen. We come from the farms of the Tuili coast. Go there now, and you will find only ruin. The Tuatha raiding parties terrorized us where we were safest. At home, there are spies among us, my friend. And they must be rooted out. Will you help me? Kill them. What else? I would do it myself, but I must lead my people. They have no hope left to speak of. My strength is all they have. Fine. Then we shall be discreet. There are 3 whom I suspect of scouting for the Tuatha. They are paid in gold. There is no record of their actions. Onred Amphast is posing as a military recruiter, while Froma and Nag are both residents of our camps in the plain. Be careful. Consider all of them well connected. Be swift. Be merciless. Onred lurks in the shade of the Forsaken Plain mostly. Try Emer, or the West Phalanx. Froma and Nag are likely in one of the refugee camps to the east. Good luck.
Welcome.
New in town?
Lovely day, isn't it? The closest thing we have to a merchant is Han Tetrin, the Tavern King. He gets shipments from Rathir.
Damn refugees.
Just give
Yes?
me a straight answer. Is the General still in the cradle of summer?
She is for as much good as it'll do her.
Please, make yourself comfortable. We don't see too many travelers in a mare these days. Not with that forest of tents growing out front. Relax and partake of what our small hamlet has to offer. Come again.
You resemble someone of authority. 2 rogues, likely freemen, have stolen a precious item from me. Pay attention! And to think my taxes pay your salary. This village was once a bustling crossroads for traders and dealers in the arcane. However, in recent years, it has become a barren outpost for the ignorant. One must keep an eye on every possession since the freemen began to terrorize the plain. Some dare to enter the village even with the militia outside. It was an impressive gem sold to me on the road to Haxi. Quite the curio. It is called the Eye of Aman, a magical token shaped by the Fae Aman the Clever. I've yet to research it thoroughly, but it is certainly valuable. Disgusting, sweaty, pathetic things. Do not misunderstand me. I have sympathy for the wretched, but only if they're far from my doorstep. I am W. Mundus, owner of Oddities and Curios by W. Mundus. I have lived in our village for nearly 1 year. I detest it, and don't get me started on the Alfar. There were 2 of them, swarthy brutes, hairy, filthy. A shudder at the thought. The beasts ransacked my antiquities collection and stole several notable items. I am a gentleman, and if you can recover my amulet, I will make it worth your time and effort. I glimpsed them leaving through the back window as they made for the woods. Name your price. Well, perhaps that's not accurate, but you will win my favor. And they don't call me the richest man in Gorehart for my charming personality. Excellent. I will stay here, secure, and wait for your return. I've told you everything, fool. Farewell, stranger.
I am on official business. Unless you've been sent by the Alfar army, we have no reason to speak. I was a soldier once, in the years before the Crystal War. I saw many die at Gallifore Fields. You could say I learned my lesson. I'm here as a recruiter for the Alfar army. My superiors believe there's still fresh blood to be wrung from the Forsaken Plain. They're wrong, of course. Let's just say I'm glad I'm not one of them. War is harsh on many people in many ways. Those of us who can avoid the suffering should. Ask anyone and you'll get the same answer. They're animals. They care nothing for the mortal races. We're just dust to them. A spy? Me? Ridiculous. You might want to stop your drinking while you still have some of your wits left. Or perhaps I'd better stop you myself. Good riddance.
What do you need?
Thank you for coming all this way. I don't know if you heard that, but it sounds as if General Talera is still here, in exile. For all but losing the fortress of Melsenshire. Long ago, Talera led our forces, but then the Tuatha produced a foe she could not best. Her forces barely survived the retreat out of Cluracan. Many blamed her for the loss. to have built up hopes so high, only to have them topple. That was Talera's crime, and she has paid for it, day after day. You're as quick as ever. Talera is in the cradle of summer, banished from the battlefields of Mel Senshir until she can atone for her past. According to the Fate Weaver here, she seeks an artifact from Ural Tusk that might break the siege and aid our forces. But she cannot do so alone, for poor Talera is fated never to succeed. That is where you can help. In a hidden valley, northwest of the plains of Erethel, the ruins of Ural Tusk lie undisturbed, as they have for many centuries. What Talera wants there is beyond me, but I trust her, even if it goes against my better judgment. Last I heard, General Talera was somewhere in northern Erethel, searching for a way to turn the tide of the war. I think she took a squad to Uraltusk. The Gardens of Issa, home between the madness of the war and the spread. You should be just what the general's looking for.
Isn't it a glorious day, as if Helios himself warms us with a smile? To what do I owe this courtesy? I only have a few moments to spare. The godstorm awaits my return, and it doesn't like to wait. It is a good place to find the peace I need to complete my work, although the refugees have certainly slowed progress. I am not one for the cacophony of any kind. I don't know how the Fae in the Cradle of Summer can stand having us so near. Our mortal din is far too distracting even for me. I have never laid my gaze upon it. Such a thing would not be proper. I am a dustling, a child of death. The Cradle of Summer must not be sullied by my taint. I was born in the city of Rathir, an orphan of the Wending. One day, I stumbled upon the Scholia Arcana library, and I found new life in the ancient books. My advice to them would be to gain some perspective. Villages grow and burn. There is only one event that is worth our attention, and that is the Godstorm. Of course, I don't typically prefer the company of others. Take the leader of these refugees, for example, Master Elrod Edmund. Gruff, coarse, not a pleasantry in sight. Why, the Godstorm is the greatest event that our fragile world has ever witnessed. It was a battle, a conflict between Fae. They call it the Withering War. That's why I relocated to Emer to complete my book, the definitive work on the subject. The village is nice enough, quiet, although the new arrivals give me no peace. Sadly, I lack the last few resources needed to tell the full story. The works of the famous scribes Ewald, Dalston, Callas, and Wildfrold. Gone. I was so close. They are lost to the ages, I'm afraid. Minds such as Ewald and Callas are rare. I suspect that their works have been spread across the plains. It is not in the Fae's nature to fight. The summer and winter courts have existed in harmony since the beginning of time. Leave it to us mortals to ruin a good thing. 500 years ago, the Summer King Issa and the Winter Lord On broke from that pattern and fought a battle here on this very plain. The land carries the scars. Athene's wisdom be yours.
I've seen some pitiful people, but these refugees are the worst.
From the naked dirt sprang the Majestics, the firstborn of the wilds of Ashara. Around them, they heard the song of splendor of a once and future summer. And they responded, and the earth moved. The carver shaped, the architect built, and the shaper composed. beyond the veil. The firstborn were torn asunder, with a cry that still lingers in the heart of every god tree and mountain. Then emptiness, followed by a darkening sky, and the frost wept with the first winter. The Shaper bequeathed her music to the countryside of marbled ruin. The plains birthed the gentle grass. Listless streams meandered through the verdant hills and babbled of their gentle travel to the face of the windswept cliffs. Thus the cycle of Arethel began. Open plains, nestled where mire and rocky deserts cease, where the hungry forests end. In the bosom of the Feylands, these fields are home to the languid sky. This work, shaped by the delicate artistry of an inspired painter, is for all the peoples of all lands. begins here, O mortals. And when the final winter leaves its chill breath on the stones of your fathers and mothers, you will witness the end of days. And it will happen here, where it began, a peaceful death in the cradle.
Be mindful of your actions.
Hail. I am General Talera ap Gwydion, former commander of the Eastern Alpha forces. Surely you're not the aide Aelin Shear promised. She spoke as if she planned to send a whole squad of soldiers, not one faceless mercenary. You have the bearing of one that's seen combat, but you never fought in the war, or you would know who I am. Once I was the commander of Mel Shear, the Alpha fortress to the east. I held back the Tuatha at every push before the Baelor came. Then everything fell to pieces. So, she is behind this. That woman. One too many times she's meddled in my affairs, making promises she never intends to keep. Well, perhaps it is for the best. The fewer people involved in my affairs, the better. You see, misfortune follows closely at my heels. It is the lot fate has cast for me. The Baelor is a thing of dread, a Niskaru lord that the Tuatha managed to coerce into fighting on their behalf. Against the Tuatha I had some success, but no ordinary weapon can best the Baelor. One must fight darkness with light. We may be lofty, but we are not weak. Our land is cold and harsh, and we have long studied the noble arts of bow and blade. Across 1,000 battlefields, my spear paints a red masterpiece. Mel Shear is the gateway into Cluricon, but it's been under siege ever since my defeat. I failed the city once. I can't fail them again. Long after the Arathi left our world, the mortals built these windstones to call them back down. I've never seen them work, but, as I said before, I'm not known for my good fortune. With Tuatha raiding parties along the shores, Rathia has the only port for safe passage across the strait. But after assisting Mel Shear for so many years, the ruling council of Rathia is loath to offer more aid for what they see as a lost cause. 10 years ago, I served the Alpha armies, defending Cluricon and Mel Shear from the Tuatha armies. Then, Witch Knight Malwyn led his Tuatha summoners against us. The fiends routed my soldiers at every turn. Now they've had Mel Shear under siege for years, while I've been searching for a weapon to turn the tide. Earl Tusk, the tomb of the divine fame, the piercing light. With a weapon like that, I could rally the troops at Mel Shear and perhaps redeem myself. They say the ruin is guarded by legions of Niskaru, led by a beast known as Azagal. Whether this is true or the stuff of legend, I don't know. The windstones are located all across the plain.
My assistant has returned.
What do you need of me?
Good day.
We're watching you.
We need to press on. There's important work to do. The years have been long since I first learned of the means that might deliver Mel Senshir from the Tuatha. It lies in Earl Tusk, beyond a gate fated never to be opened, in a hall awash with Niskaru. Any who seek access to the ruin must face them. These ruins are said to be the resting place of the Piercing Light, a spear carved from the tusk of the Niskaru Duke, Gajor. The legends say it destroys any horror, in the mind or on the battlefield. No place is more deserving of such a power as Mel Senshir. For all my years of research, I've only ever found one clue to this puzzle: when the great voices rise in song. It may refer to the wind stones scattered across the plains. They bear a striking resemblance to the stones of this ruin. But that's simply me grasping at answers. Take this chime. It is said to have been taken from the ruin during its construction many centuries ago. I've tried using it on the windstones with no luck. The inscription says the gate will open when the great voices rise in song. I think there's one just a little to the south. Go there and strike this chime near it. I'll stay here to see if it has any effect. The wind stones are located all across the plains.
We're watching you.
I can't believe it. The gate shifted? For all my efforts, you simply appear and make it respond. No, you've opened one part of the gate, but 4 more remain. You must find the wind stones scattered throughout the plains and activate them. I will remain here. The Niskaru will sense that the seal is weakened. Someone must try to hold them back. Go sound the chime at each windstone in Arethel. That's the only way to open the gates. I'll stay here and fight any Niskaru looking to sneak past us.
You have absolutely no idea what you've done, do you? Mortal soul is trying to take something. Thanks to you, the barrier is broken, and the magic weakens. If we do not act swiftly, the cradle of summer will be lost. It is from this earth where the summer fae are said to have sprung, fully formed eternal flowers that never fade. For many seasons, Our kind have fought to protect the Cradle of Summer and its importance in the Great Cycle. It is most notable where the power of Ashara spills into our world, our sacred wellsprings, the font in the gardens of Isa, the Cradle of Summer, and Caer Elotha. The flow has weakened, slowing the Great Cycle. But I don't need to see the fonts to know that all is lost. I feel it in my being, deep where the seasons die. I am a guardian of the Cradle, tasked with protecting this wondrous place, our great inheritance. Few mortals know how vital the Cradle of Summer is to all life. If necessary, I will sacrifice myself to ensure that the magic here is kept safe. You have jeopardized that mission. The Cradle of Summer is a blessed place, and we must protect it from those that wish to make such power their own. My barrier served its purpose for many seasons, but magic everywhere has been in decline. Your disturbance of the lore stones destroyed the barrier. You are responsible. All of this world's power flows from the wild of Ashara, and there are places where it touches us directly. Our power comes from the single source, drifting in the air around us, a light on the surface. We protect the Cradle with a magical barrier, but now that you've tainted the lore stones, I must sacrifice my own power to replace what was lost. Then come. I will restore the barrier at the font, but you must protect me. The Wild Fae will be here soon. This is the chance they've been waiting for. Farewell. I am so weary. But it is done, and the cradle is safe once more. You have done what is right, and I am pleased to give you this talisman as a symbol of my thanks. Perhaps the first one spoke the truth. That the fonts are running dry. That things are finite after all. For that is how I feel at this moment. Drained of all life. An odd sensation, this dying. Maybe there is something to mortality after all.
Are you one of the intruders? One of the children of the dust? What else can we possibly give you that you haven't already taken? The cradle of summer is not a flower for the plucking. For many seasons, we have protected this sacred space from the darkening influence of the mortal world. For it is here where we, Summer Fae, first set foot in Amalur. But with the rise of the Tuatha, the magical barriers protecting the cradle of summer have weakened. If this continues, nothing is safe from the blight of winter. I am Kala, guardian of the cradle. Terenier and I safeguard what has never needed protecting, until now. With our weakening magic, the Fae must tend to our own. Mortals, children of the dust. Those who seek only to steal the treasures of the land from which we sprung, to end the deep slumber. Mortals like you who seek to bend nature to their will, to make it bow before them as a servant, not embrace it as a guide and mother. Mortals, thieves, liars, and weaklings. They have stolen items of great power. They have stolen the three staffs. They are Rivener Tarsus, Gloamfrost, and Ender's Fire. Three incredible weapons forged to end a war that was threatening to engulf your mortal world. Such prizes, such items of power and importance cannot be kept in the open, and so they were hidden here. That is, until the intruders took them. A child of the dust wishes to help the cycle. There is no precedent. If you truly wish to assist those of us in the deep slumber, you are welcome to. The three staffs were stolen from Sill Hollow and destroyed by the thieves who did not comprehend their power or their value. I heard their dying screams. The pieces must be recovered and the staffs must be reforged. If you can do this, you are more worthy of the cradle than I could imagine. But likely, you will not. They were wielded during the long twilight of the Withering War. those three weapons uprooted mountains and left the lush plain forsaken. They are the lightning, the fire, and the ice. They are precious. And while their magic has weakened in these fell lands, they are still cherished and must be returned. It is the most powerful form of Fey reverie, a connection between our people and our birthplace of Ashara, the realm from which all magic is born. We in the cradle of summer slumber to protect this sacred place. We draw energy from our homeland and use it to maintain the barriers that keep out the beasts and men. It is for those answers that I seek the wisdom of the slumber. For it is in its reverie where I will learn the whereabouts of these thieves, Wrath, Purter, and Hagni. May your gods be with you.